And this is kind of what we want to get at one point, starting with our meetups over here. There's not many in Peel district over here in Mississauga. Not a lot of people. Like for me, I live in Brampton. If I want to go to meetups, I can't go on a regular basis. But if there's more meetups like this in Peel district, then there's opportunities for people to learn about this. So today's topic was emerging technologies and the future of work. What are we expecting to work like in the next 5, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years? So first focus is, well, emerging technologies. What are they? We know technology is reinventing humanity. We're integrating with technology every single day, more and more. If you take an example, we're using technology now to present. Before, people didn't use it as much. Let's say you lose your internet connection. All your work, education, everything nowadays, like for example, for me, all my textbooks are online. I don't have any physical textbooks. Well, if that shuts down, well, I can't learn anymore, right? So it's just the dependence of technology we have. So what are the first thing when you talk about emerging technologies, AI comes to my mind, artificial intelligence. I'm sure you've heard of this term, and it's like the most hot topic you can call it right now. So AI, and you might not even notice, we're already in engagement with AI. Like look at your Google search. Google is heavily backed by AI. You search something, let's say events, and then an hour later you'll get sponsored ads. Like Facebook is somehow integrated with Google. I search Meetup for technology, and then I get like the cybersecurity meetup, and all these sponsors are just flooding the app. That's all AI, and it's this kind of mechanism where it's taking this data, using that to process information, making predictive analysis, and then feeding you the information back to you. So artificial intelligence, it's in simple four terms is a intelligent predictive use of data, and it's expected to become a $15 trillion market by 2030. Just imagine the possibilities: $15 trillion that you can play with if you were to enter it now. So a few applications of AI. Where would AI make the biggest disruptions? My first thing I would say is AI in healthcare. Well, you may be wondering how. Well, healthcare it's a huge domain. You already know there's so much, and it also has higher barriers to entry for new startups or new companies. But companies that are working on like AI healthcare would include something like drug analysis or drug discovery. So essentially, getting your whatever reports you have or your body, basically X-rays, making predictive analysis using X-rays, and then pinpointing even molecules in your body, finding properties of molecules that you can enhance. And basically, the AI, what it would do is it would sit and then it would work through those countless research papers over the last 50, 100 years, because you can't sit through and read like 10,000. It's not possible. But if you were to ask an AI to do it would do it within hours, not even hours, actually minutes. Once it has that much data, it can then just look for patterns in all these, make amazing analysis, and get across what to do, like essentially predict this is what's going to happen, this is the type of disease you might have, and then get across, help people make really, really good medicine. And like even allergy testing, I was talking with the startup, I was in my mentoring session, what they were working on was allergy testing. And what allergy testing, what they were trying to do was essentially they made a patch and they put it on your skin. Right now what people do with allergy testing is prick tests. I don't know if you've ever gone to one, but essentially they just poke needles with different substances and to see if you have allergies. Like, oh, you have an allergy for nuts. They'll just have some nut ingredient, just poke you with it, and they'll be like, oh, you have an allergy for nuts. Well, 50% of the time that's all wrong. You have a different allergy. But that's the current system. This company is like, okay, I'm going to work on smart allergy testing using AI. Because AI can then find those patterns. Okay, what type of people show the types of indications of allergy for nuts? What area in the world has a higher proportion of people that have an allergy for nuts? So once you find that, the AIs can be like, okay, in Northeastern America, there's a higher proportion for allergy for nuts. And then you can use that data and then target the medicines to go to that particular area. You see the potential. That's just AI healthcare, drug discovery. So AI and finance, fintech. Well, AI, we know the biggest thing you can hear about finance is, Wall Street. What do they do there? Stock trading, bonds, all those securities, everything. Well, you can make an AI that can predict what the stock price will be based on the data you have for the last, 10, 15, 20 years, 50 years. That's telling you where to invest. So essentially, you can train that AI to be like, okay, I can develop a system that can help me, capitalize on the next big stock. All the new IPOs that are coming up, which one is the most successful? Take for example, you have Slack that's raising its IPO, just now it announced. Well, why would Slack succeed? Well, based on what Microsoft maybe have done, Microsoft Teams, well, this will work for them. And then you as an investor could then get an early kind of advantage on a lot of the people's, or not even early, you know that it's going to increase. You're going to put in the money there. So AI mobiles, so Tesla, I'm sure all of you have heard of it. What they're working on is creating autonomous electric vehicles. Autonomous is, again, driven by itself. That means it's backed by AI. What it does is that you have to train the car. You have a system that basically studies how people's behavior for driving cars, and then based on that, what's wrong, what's right, and it's able to come up with the best, way of driving. Essentially, when to stop, at what distance, what braking power to use. So and Tesla's current autonomous system is already safer than any other car out there. Many people are reluctant to believe because they're like, well, how should I trust the machine? Well, it's still safer than it's 1 in 1 million rather than 1 in every 4 accidents. So that's just the potential we have. When you move into law, now this is cool because you have lawyers out there. There's a lot of problems with that as well. There's some forgeries going on, all those things. Well, with the AI, you can get an unbiased decision over there as well. With law, you can train this law application. The attorney or the judge can be replaced by an AI. And then you can have a group that basically get data from all across the world, different cases. You make analysis of that, and then you get back to solve lawyer cases. Robotics, again, coming with manufacturing, automation, and travel as well. So all these are heavily backed by data. If you realize one common thing in between this is that data is key. And data has already replaced oil as the biggest resource, resource out there. So data is more valuable. So anything with data, you can use AI on. So this company, a really good company, Atomwise, is based in Toronto. I was at a meetup and they were talking about how they use AI for drug discovery. So you'll read there is using new molecules to target, hardest targets. And their discovery is they have this system they've designed, they've trained over time using new algorithms and extensions, and you can apply this into a hospital. And this hospital can essentially then, for their particular patient, run this AI system, and then it can pinpoint, okay, this is the problem areas. This is the type of medicine with this modification that you need to do to treat this patient best. So that's just a lot of companies based in Toronto, Canada. You can see this tons in Toronto, just AI companies that are popping up, and these are just the last 3 years. People are actually working on it. It's people are having a hard time to adopt to it, but it's going to pick up. So moving on from AI, VR, AR, MR. So the reason I chose this image is because they're related technologies, because virtual reality, augmented reality, and that mixed reality. Essentially what virtual reality is that if you've seen Oculus Rift, I'm sure. They have those goggles and it's completely like an immersive world, but virtual, no interaction with the physical world. You're in the game essentially. AR is, Pokemon Go Pokemon Go. I've heard of it. So it's essentially just like you can have these characters playing, moving. It's all about games and entertainment as well. Mixed reality is then that you have, you can engage with physical, but also makes an impact in the virtual world. So all these three are related. So this is the Microsoft HoloLens. This is mixed reality. You can basically showing how the future use case of it interacting with your life. You have this. You can have your to-do list, and then you can have screens. Without the need of a physical screen, but you can see that it's a physical world there. That's mixed reality. Well, anyways, moving on to the use cases for AR, MR, VR. first big thing, big industry it's going to revolutionize is entertainment, games and entertainment. That's going to completely change because nowadays, gaming industry is what, $1 trillion one, even it's bigger than the movie industry. So gaming, how that's going to change is then people will actually interact with each other while they're playing a virtual game. So that whole concept of people are not sitting on their couches anymore. They're actually playing the game. They have this room probably set up as a mixed reality, and then they're actually in the assuming the roles of the characters. You might go to a cinema that's completely like you're possibly playing the character in the cinema. So you get the full experience. Second one is healthcare again. So you'd have a time where you have surgeons who would do their practice, trials, maybe using AR, VR. You don't have to then tamper with the patient. You don't have to tamper with animals, right? That you can just simulate, and it'll be so realistic that all the education can be done. And then this takes away the need to go to school. Then you have glasses, you can just learn here. You're doing physical, practical work from where you are. Next is also when you're manufacturing, let's say. Well, what about designing things, right? Designing these complex machines. Well, that's easy now. Then you can just do it with AR, these goggles. And then work from home. The concept of, well, you don't have to go there because you can just have the workplace environment around you. It can look like you're in your office, but you don't have to go there. You can have the other guy also wearing the AR glass, it's sitting right beside you. It doesn't have to be.
So
again, communication, teamwork changes up. Work changes up. So a company, again, I've met this company, really good people, smart people. This is what Google failed to do with the Google Glass, but these companies did it. Again, Waterloo company, smart people in Canada. Focus by North. So the company is essentially, it's like normal glasses. What you're wearing now, no one could tell that it's smart glasses. So again, a lot of people are willing to use it. It's so easy to put on, there's no obstruction. So what it tells you can see in this chip is that time, let's say you have reminders coming up, so you're navigating, messages, navigation, everything on your phone, right in front of you. It's very easy to use, and it's not that expensive. The price for this, I think it's like $600 or $700 with prescription. So give it a try. Moving on from that, we come to blockchain. So I was having a conversation with him as well over there about the future of finance, what's coming up. Blockchain, not only finance, it's a lot of things. Anything to do with security, blockchain is going to solve. Well, supposed to solve. So, in simple, terms, you could say that our current systems, let's see, your finance system, anything to do with assets, anything to do with trading, it's centralized. There's a middleman. You send money from here to India. There's a middleman. It takes 7 days. You can fly there faster than you can transfer money, which is, I don't know why that's the problem, but you can do that. So with that, it's centralized, so it's hackable. People, and you heard about the recent frauds also happened, but also the breaches that are Equifax, Capital One, just recently. You wouldn't expect Capital One to have, that happened there, but it did. So a lot of money is lost, data is lost, and that's a concern if personal data is lost. Blockchain is called the Internet of Value. You have this network which is decentralized, which means it's opposite of that, and it's connected over a whole network around the world. You can't hack it, and it's immutable. Basically, you can't change it. So let's say you're making a transaction over this network. It's timestamped. It creates a block, essentially, adds it to this network of long blockchains, like essentially blockchain, and then that moment you can't change the block, the code. And what happens is it has to be approved by this group of miners around the world. Miners are essentially people who are you earn blocks, your coins, essentially cryptocurrency, for mining. Essentially, is solving this mathematical algorithm. The computers can do it. It just takes a lot of energy. Computers are set up, and then they approve the transaction. And a lot of people have to approve the transaction. So when you actually, let's say, send money on this network, it's approved by everyone. It's timestamped. It creates a block that you cannot change or hack. smart contracts. So this is another extension of blockchain. What this is basically is you can have a contract on the network, any contract, like you have a contract, you sign an agreement between two people. On this, it's on a blockchain network. And what happens is there's two sides. Once you make the contract, well, you can't. It's signed, it's recorded on that network. You can't change it. No two sides can back down. It's in. You have proof basically, proof of all the whole concept of proof of work, everything goes there. So it's basically you have this contract and both sides have to agree to the terms. And where this completely changes now, if you're trying to work, you're looking for a job, you have, and it comes with the concept of working here for another let's say company in Bay Area. Let's say you're a software engineer in Canada. You're working for a company in Bay Area, California. What happens is you can have a contract with the employer, and here your terms are, okay, you have a 6-month project, I'm going to, I'm working on this project, first milestone, second milestone, and essentially, like sprints, essentially. So first sprint, I'm going to deliver this. And every sprint, the contract will deploy the money to the engineer, directly to his digital wallet. No need to go through the bank. It will be instant. The moment you submit, it's approved by the smart contract. Now, how does it approve? Well, the terms and conditions are defined in the smart contract. It's all read and executed by a machine, no bias involved. So he can't be like, oh, you didn't, disputes, again, takes away the disputes. It's all proof. The machine reads and executes the code, checks if it's all the, are met, all the guidelines are met, and the money is deployed. And what happens is, even for the company, it's security, because if this person does not meet the expectations, it will not pay the money. So working here becomes easy, dealing with vendors becomes easy. So blockchain is DLS, essentially, distributed ledger system. 4 key applications, I would say, is the government. Government central, all the whole corruption problems coming up with a lot of the countries, replace that with blockchain. Because then you can't tamper with anything. You have a proof for everything, right? And UAE is taking this really, really seriously. They have announced that by 2022, all their government operations will be run on blockchain. Even countries in the Caribbean, like I was at the conference last 3 days, they were announcing that, again, Barbados, they're announcing that their whole government is going to run by blockchain. So heavy investments going there as well. Completely replace the existing system. So all your taxation, anything related to your government, replaced by blockchain. Healthcare again. So the whole concept of losing your data, privacy, if you go to hospital and you ask for customer details, they won't give it to you because the whole concerns against privacy and everything. Well, there's still breaches in hospitals. There's people stealing data anyways. With this, you won't be able to. It's just network, put all your documents on that, no one's going to hack it. So cloud is also going to change. The whole, Dropbox, for example. You can do something like that with blockchain. And then you can just say that, well, it's unhackable now. So you're safe. No one's going to hack your data. FinTech, again, the whole asset transfer. A middleman takes out the transaction fees, the need for any mortgage approvals, because it's directly me and him. Like he has a property sold to me. I deal with him. I sign a contract. If need be, it's between us two. There's no middleman. Why do we need it? We don't need it. There's no need to pay. You're saving money. Real estate. So I will talk about that as well. So real estate. There was a company yesterday at the conference, Freedom. You can check them out. There, you can start investing in. Essentially, it's tokenizing buildings. Like, let's say the Empire State. The concept of actually you can own a part of the Empire State. So you know how people, companies go and they have shares breakdown. So what people can do is now you can invest in these monuments, maybe in real estate, and you can start small. You can invest in as little as $100, and you can see if the value for that goes up on supply demand, you earn money. So it just becomes an easy mechanism for everyone to just put in money and earn. Even it can help you build up capital for your first investment, your first home, because it takes out the middleman, so you don't have to pay anything to your agents or the banks. So some of the companies, top companies, so Buns is the full marketplace they've made. You can buy everything using their whole central system. They have Buns token. So definitely check them out. Virgo CX is an exchange. So you can go from fiat currency, which is USD, CAD, all those dollars, into cryptocurrency with no transaction fees. So you're not losing money. And that's the key thing as well. Right? If you try, you know how you send money to, let's say you're converting from Canadian dollars to American dollars, well, you have to pay someone. With cryptocurrencies, there can be numerous, but you don't have to pay. Polymath is so Ethereum network, basically people are creating this whole blockchain net, so people can create applications on top of it. Ethereum is essentially that. You can create web applications, you can create mobile applications. So for example, you can even create a social app on the Ethereum net. But what you can guarantee with that is that there's no way you can lose data. Problem now with Ethereum is, I'm going a bit deeper here, is that for every feature you include, you have to pay a certain Ether. Ether is their token. And so let's say someone likes the post, let's say you have a social app on this network. You like this post, well, not you, the company has to pay a certain Ether, not scalable. People are working on it, so Polymath, they partner with the actual founders of Ethereum, and they're working on creating this network for securities. So anything to do with securities, they're tokenizing it. Now Herc, this one's a really cool one. So using blockchain for supply chain management. So you can track, so at the conference they did this as a demo, and they're like, okay, we got these food, we got bananas, peaches, all those things. We can track at every moment where it came from, which farmer it came from, when it was uploaded, when it was loaded, where it was loaded. So all that whole is proof, and you cannot tamper with it. So it's the whole concept of tracking, where your food's coming from, where all the assets are coming from. Now, if you've heard there was a Romanian lettuce, there was some problem with that, E. coli wasn't there, right? So they had to throw away all the Romanian lettuce because they couldn't pinpoint where the location of E. coli was, where it was coming from. Again, loss of money. They lost a lot of money just throwing away all their lettuce. If they were to use this technology, then you can track what shipment was faulty, what shipment had the problems. You just discard that and you're set. There's many. We keep talking about it. The Redium is the real estate one. The Flexa is one more thing. They're deploying this in Tim Hortons, Cineplex, and all the top. So within 3 months, you'll see this Flexa, and essentially they're partnering with CoinSquare. Now you can do Apple Pay, or for blockchain using Flexa. So load up your cryptocurrency. You're not going to have transaction fees. You're saving money. So use that. So from 3 months from now, you can buy your coffee with that Flexa crypto. They have their own tokens as well.
The problem with Bitcoin, the blockchain is they need government. Government has issues with it.
Government
legislation issues are issues.
Yes.
So how are they handling that?
So what they had yesterday, what they were talking about was the whole concept of they need to replace a lot of the government system because this one you cannot work this simultaneously with finance, the current system. Reason being is the whole concept of transaction fees, the middleman. So for them, it's a problem. It's a threat almost. Like let's say you're a bank. It's a threat to the bank because they're going to stop earning money. It's going to theoretically replace all the banks. A lot of concerns with that. Government's like, well, I have, finance is so huge, they already have a whole lobby essentially. Governments already developed the systems according to that finance system. To completely replace that is obviously a complete changeover. Now, you need the entire government, like UAE is doing it. They're like, we're going to replace each and every system on the blockchain. They're going to have to replace their the taxation, how that works, how the whole concept of anything related to laws on the blockchain. So for bigger economies, it's difficult. Like America is going to take a lot more time. And the concern that is now, if one country applies it, they're going to have a hard time dealing with the other countries.
Thank you.
So now the concern that's one that they even don't have a proper answer because they're like, how do we convince 1 billion people at once to use this? Because I remember I went to the conference last year too. Same group of people came, with a few more. And these people, they're dedicated to blockchain. They're like, this is going to change, and it will. It's like how internet back in 1993 and 1994, you had the early adopters. Same thing with blockchain community. And if you go there right now, you're one of the early ones. So again, it's again, you'll need a lot of more companies to come up with
Technology is not an issue, government is the issue.
governance. So they're working on what governance should we do, what system can, like the whole concept that goes supply demand goes, right?
Yeah, mostly the banks, right? They are.
So last kind of the major technology I want to talk about is Industry 4.0. Now it's not one technology, it's a combination of a lot. We started with the whole steam engine back in the, that was the first industrial revolution. You moved to the production line, which was introduced by Ford Motors.
Yeah.
Then you moved into the automation aspect, computing, network, internet's coming. Now you're going to have this whole, all put together with intelligence, cyber-physical system. So, kind of the key technologies that take part in Industry 4.0 are, additive. I mentioned a few already. Big data, key, cybersecurity, Internet of Things, system integration. So these all kind of work hand in hand to create this whole new manufacturing, not manufacturing, like the Industry 4.0. Well, anyways, what I was trying to get is that it has data, automation, intelligence systems. So 4 key parts to it would be you have the data component, because that's the most valuable resource now. The whole intelligence aspect comes from there. Automation comes from replacing the repetitive task by machines. You have this one doing the same thing again and again. It's going to just do it faster than you save money. Intelligence comes from making the analytics, AI portion of it. Systems is you have this existing system. How do we add all these 3 things to it? How do we combine blockchain with AI with this? I don't know, your manufacturer, let's say. So one of the companies, let's say this one is the Young, I don't pronounce this, but they're using drones to deploy, agriculture. Essentially, using drones to get irrigation, all those things for agriculture. So they're using a system of drones. So and the whole Industry 4.0, and they're intelligent, so they're powered by AI, and they're going to, for each, let's say you're a farmer, they can go up to you and they can do, from analytics, where should the water be, again, sprayed, where should the pesticides be sprayed effectively.
That's like a precision farming.
Precision farming, yes. So, and this is Microsoft also doing this a lot with Azure, their whole network, so pretty cool. So what about 20 years from now? I mentioned 4 technologies, well, 4 groups of technologies. So that's just maybe 5-10 years, and it's more, there's more activity going there. And that's going to obviously last long too. But there's more things that are popping up. Maybe you can put that with AI. You know what I mean? Quantum computing. Here's the concept: is use quantum computers to, and quantum computers have the potential to hack literally any system we have right now. So your internet would literally be hacked. Everything would be hacked because quantum computers can do everything within split seconds. It's using quantum physics, which I can get deeper into, but we should go on time. Nanotechnology is using really small bots, targeting molecules and, let's say, delivering medicines to you. So really, like nanometer, you can't see it. And that system, again, can be powered by AI. These nanobots can work together and deliver medicine to these. So there's a lot of opportunities coming up for even, university, right? All this tech, you need to keep improving because this is what's going to come in the future. Brain-computer interfaces. So Elon Musk, the founder of Tesla, is working on something that you can literally insert brain chips into your head. You can download the internet, literally download the internet. So there's no need to learn, go to school. You have everything when you're born.
So matrix ray,
Yeah. I mean, then comes the concern that is this ethical? We can get into that later. Cellular agriculture is cultivating food using cells. The whole, if you've seen Beyond Meat at Tim Hortons, have you guys gone? You know that whole plant-based burger?
Heard
about it. So that's using that.
Yeah.
They're making those similar meat-like feeling by using cells. So you're not actually killing the animal. You're just using the cells to create that feeling. So again, for all the it's a good move from non-vegetarians to vegetarian options because non-vegetarians are kind of like killing the planet because each pound of beef is apparently consuming 25 lots of gallons of water. So yeah. Hyperloop technologies, probably heard of it, using vacuum tunnels to send trains really, really fast. So you can get from here to New York in 30 minutes, new and fast way. 3D printing, you can print houses using printers. Genetic engineering, so creating designer babies. You can literally design a baby to be this smart, good looking, this tall, not have these diseases, which is a good use. Anything. So it's programming the baby, putting the IT concepts but on a baby. Space technologies. So again, what Elon Musk is working on. You can notice that Elon Musk is working on a lot of these. It's like space technologies, brain computers, quantum computing, hyperloop. He's also working on that. That's a lot of them.
I can see you're a fan.
Yes, I am definitely. When people call him crazy, but he's not. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly mention some companies. Xanadu, so they're building a quantum computer based in Toronto again. They're combining AI with quantum now. So you have quantum machine learning coming in here, which you can also take some time to explore. AI is some field I would suggest a lot of people can jump into as well. Rigetti, another one, so combining quantum with cloud. So the whole concept of, so they're going against like AWS and all those. They're using quantum computers to back that. Deep genomics, so AI for creating medicine. Tesla, we all know. Still want to mention it. Planetary resources is providing resources and essentially looking for life in space. So they're basing it, they're partnered with SpaceX, again, Elon Musk. So what do I do to prepare for this change? It's, okay, well let me tell you something, you can't stop it. So your best bet is, what do I do to make use of it? Try this, HackerRank is one way you can actually increase your skills. I'm putting some resources down, and I'm going to email out a few more resources that you guys can use on your time, upgrade your skills, starting from basics. And I'm saying this, you should also read, you check out Futurism, Quartz, some of the websites I am reading from. That's where I got my knowledge. It's not like I know how to code each and everything. TopTal, definitely try to get your name here, because a lot of the top companies are going to hire from here. Literally hire the top 3%. So try that out. PlanX, so this is nice, I just came across that recently. Google and Mars Directory in Toronto are partnering to help guide you, essentially, on, because automation is supposed to take half of your jobs, how you cope up with that. So definitely check this out. Yeah, that's it for now. So my kind of last thoughts would be that there's so much happening. Don't be overwhelmed, because there's an opportunity for every technology. It's on you now. You have to get involved with as many people. You meet new people, go talk to them, you'll learn a lot. That's what the point of this meetup. And again, you guys showing up here, one of the first few people, really, really appreciate that. And we're going to keep going, getting more meetups, maybe technology specific from the future, and let's see how that goes. So we also have Kiran, who wants to give you a bit more details on job specific. How do you actually prepare for the jobs? What are the jobs coming? AI, all right, okay, I heard about AI. What do I do now? What job do I look for? Kiran's going to talk about that. So
Thanks for this. So what I will say is, first we should do in the best interest of time, get your snacks and come here. So I can give my presentation when you are having snacks. So I don't want to be between you and samosas.
Yeah, so please, yeah,
Yeah.
please go get some.
We have some of
Right.
So there are plates. You can take your snacks, come here, and then I'll start. So when I'm talking, you can have your snack. That's okay.
Take the tripod off it.
Oh, okay, yeah, sure. Stop.